them. Before we get into the message, I want to just talk a few minutes. I wrote a few things down around the shooting death of Charlie Kirk, and I want to share them. Our senior leadership team met Friday night, and before we began talking through our agenda, the conversation swerved to this loss. Some of us were very familiar with Charlie Kirk, some of us not so much. And as I have talked to people this week, the words I have heard is that this hit them different and deeper. For me, I've known of him, but I've not followed him. The fact that he was so young and had such deep conviction of faith and political views, it kind of hit me different and deeper as well. What's tough about, the interesting thing about Charlie Kirk is that he has a deep Christian faith that Christians share, but he has a very strong political view that not every Christian shares. And so many people have an attachment to him and his faith, and there's a mixed experience of his strident political views. So as we were sharing, one of our team members, remarked about how the internet has spun this thing into oblivion, and everybody just seems to be drawing lines and taking sides. He said, after reflecting on to where to draw a line, he simply said, "The line is Jesus." To elaborate on that, God does not draw a line between conservatives and liberals. In God's eyes, we don't have a political problem. Oh, we have political problems, but as long as we think our problems are political in nature, we will continue to crave and lust after political solutions. I'd like to suggest that politics is neither the problem nor is it the solution. Our politics is the symptom of who we are. Our nation is a people, broken-hearted people trying to figure out life with and without God. I know some are going to say this is a naive way of thinking and that no one thinks like that. I want to put two other questions out there. Search your heart. Do you really think we can politic our way out of our political problems? I'm not saying that politics is unimportant. It's really important. It particularly affects those who are not as well resourced as those in Chester County. Politics is very important. However, there's a spiritual brokenness that politics seems to only be accelerating. So the first question is, can we really politic our way out of our political problems? Second, Jesus said there is a broad road and there is a narrow road. And he calls his followers to a narrow road of learning his way in the world. Are you willing to take the narrow road? Are you willing to take a narrow road with people who think alongside of people who think differently than you? Following Jesus is a narrow, unpopular, and untrodden path. Being known as a Christian is one thing. 76% of Americans are known as Christians. Following Jesus, though, means a narrow path. The narrow path will rarely get you a 38% approval rate. There is a path where you can have the comfort of blaming half the world as your enemy and the other half, the one you are on, as the correct version. Jesus invites us on the path where all have sinned and fallen short of the glory of God. Alexander Solzhenitsyn said, "The line between good and evil runs through the heart of every single human." The narrow path is a way of humility, mercy, and love for our enemies. So before we enter our message, I want to give us a few moments of silence to grieve. Name a lament in your heart and bring it to God. Maybe it is the loss of the countless lives to political violence. Maybe it's the loss of the nation you grew up in. Maybe it's the loss of certainty. If you have something to confess, this is an opportunity to do so you can enjoy the grace of God. But let's bring it to God who holds our nation, who's strong enough to hold our nation together and hold our future. So we're just going to have a few moments of silence. God, sometimes I have a hard time connecting to my sadness because I just feel angry. And I confess that to you. Sometimes I don't know exactly what I'm feeling about stuff like this. But I know those who are hurting and mourn, and we know we can mourn with them. And God, we also know that we are not of those who mourn without hope. We are a people of great hope and of great power in Jesus. And so, God, we ask for the power of your Spirit to work in our nation, in our church, in our lives. God, I pray for the churches, that God, we would be a people of buoyant faith and hope in Jesus. God, we ask for spiritual renewal that would connect us deeply to Jesus, that would produce love for Jesus and love for our enemies. God, may we fill that narrow path. God, as we look to your scriptures, we trust that you can speak to us wherever we might be. This has been a heavy morning so far. But God, we know that you're the one who carries every weight, and that you can speak to us. And God, I particularly pray that as we walk out of here, you'd lead us out with great, buoyant hope and the power of Jesus in our lives. Amen.